What is going on, guys? Welcome to the Platinum Podcast, where we talk about all things gaming, all things PlayStation, and all things trophies. I'm joined by Joel, aka GuyFarruski, on YouTube. How you doing, Joel?
On top of the world.
On top of the world? Well, I am gravy.
You're what?
I am gravy.
Gravy? Oh my god, I've not heard that in ages.
I thought that on the fly there. Okay, guys, so, the Platinum Podcast, we talk about games, we talk about Platinum trophies, but we're going to talk a lot about the PlayStation 5 reveal this week. We've got so much to talk about this week because there's been so much gaming news. Sometimes you get those weeks where there is nothing to talk about at all. This is not one of those weeks.
No.
But we're going to start and we're going to ease ourselves into the conversation. So we're going to start with talking about the games we've been playing. So, Joel, what have you been playing this week?
I've been playing Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Game I had to go back to Platinum because I left it for ages. I played a lot of it when I was streaming, then I stopped streaming and I started working on other things, so I kind of neglected it. And then I kind of looked at my backlog and I could see it there just looking at me. And then I looked at my trophy percentage and it was on like 15%, and I was like, no, this will not do. No.
Little Carl giving you the puppy dog eyes.
Yeah.
Please play me.
Please play me. So yeah, I've been bashing that out. It's been good. I've been enjoying it. Really, really good.
I feel like some people... Actually, I feel like this statement to describe Star Wars triggers so many people. Is it a Dark Souls light?
I think it's more of a Sekiro-like.
A Sekiro-like.
A Sekiro-like.
Light. So yeah, like I've had people who go, I don't like Dark Souls because it's too hard. I don't call it a Dark Souls like light because I won't want to play it. Now I've had people who play those games and go, it's not Dark Souls, it's nowhere near as complicated as those games. Don't give it that sort of tag.
No, it's not. Dark Souls is definitely more complicated because Dark Souls, you have like the RPG elements. You got your stats that you have to level up in a certain way to do certain builds. If you mess up, then you can have a hard time. Sekiro is, I'll compare this a bit more to Sekiro, only in the higher difficulty because of the parries and whatnot. If you're playing in like the normal difficulty, then it's kind of like it's just your standard adventure game. On the higher difficulties though, you play it a lot like Sekiro. You rely a lot on the parry, and if you mess up, you're gonna get punished for it.
Well, you just burst my bubble everywhere. There was me thinking, I've just played this game on Apprentice, I'm ready for Sekiro, but I don't think that's the case.
Probably. Well, you've got the basics there. You've got the basics. So at least you've got the buttons, all right. You've got the parry button.
the parry, you get 4-second window to parry in Sekiro, right?
No.
Parry, Jedi Master. That was me playing that game.
That's fair. I mean, a bit of practice. But you've got the basics. I mean, I think you'll get comfortable. I always say this. If you haven't played Dark Souls or Bloodborne, you're most likely going to do better than people who have, because you haven't got the Dark Souls, Bloodborne habits. Because if you play Sekiro like Dark Souls, you're going to die. If you play Sekiro like Sekiro, you're going to do well.
Words of wisdom. Is that the only game you've been playing this week?
I played a tiny bit of Death Stranding. And then I kind of got a little bit bored, so I went back to Star Wars.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hideo's turning.
Yeah.
To be fair, as well, you have been playing Erica, which you seem to forget you haven't mentioned.
Yeah, well, I played that last week. I played a lot of it, like, last week. This week, not so much. I spent a lot of the time... Well, I played Erica 2 weeks ago, and then the last week I did the guide, and then this week it's been Star Wars. So technically, I've not been playing Erica.
Fair play. For those who don't know, Joel has just done a really good Platinum Trophy guide on how to earn the Platinum Trophy, obviously, for Erica. It's pretty awesome. I'll put it in the link down below. You should go watch it. If you haven't played the game, it'll give you an idea as to how easy the Platinum Trophy is, and if you have started it and haven't finished it, then this is probably the best guide out there to do it, so go check it out. Well, always nice people who are nice to me. If you're not, though. Okay, I will talk about what I've been playing because I think it's going to segue us really well into a few gaming updates around the world. So the main game I've been playing is Avengers, so Marvel's Avengers. So it's been broken for a while. I made a couple of videos on this. The trophies have been pretty much unobtainable. The Platinum Trophy has been unobtainable for a few trophies, some for beating so many villain sectors, and then basically all of the trophies are glitched, and it depends on your luck, basically. Someone's going to have no problem doing it, others aren't. And it's been fixed, however, I've still experienced a lot of glitches in it. So the 1.3 update was supposed to address pretty much everything, and it pretty much has addressed some of it. So if you're lucky, you can get a Platinum Trophy now. If you're not, like myself, you're going to struggle with some more glitches, so you're going to have your work cut out. Before this podcast begun, though, I was saying to Joel that I spent about 7 to 8 hours playing this Avengers over the weekend, which is quite a long time for the same game. If it's a game that's amazing, like Witcher 3,
yes,
then you're going to have a great time. However, I was saying that I was feeling pretty fatigued with this game because it's so repetitive. And still another 30, 40 hours. And just sort of, it's a question of at what point you sort of draw the line in the sand and say, this game is just too demanding on my time to actually go for the completion, the 100%. What do you think about that, Joel?
I agree. I think, it all depends on, it's what you do with the time as well, because if you're spending 40 hours playing a game, but you're progressing and you're doing different things, like The Witcher, we always bring up The Witcher, but like The Witcher, the quests are always different, so even though they're similar, like some are fetch quests or Gwent or whatever, you're still experiencing like a different story and a different narrative. When it comes to Avengers, I'm guessing a lot of the things is just rinse and repeat over and over and over and over again, the same thing over and over again.
Joel, it's even worse than that. So I'm going to just tell you what I've been doing. So for those, you get the side missions. You know, Witcher has Fallout. All RPGs have side quests that have repetitive elements in them. So for example, go here, kill this person. Go here, fetch this. Yeah. I've been playing the same 3 levels over and over again. So basically, it's like Destiny. You play the game over. However, the power level, the light level, whatever you want to compare it to, is pretty much redundant because as you level up, everything else levels up around you, so it's pretty much pointless.
Right.
But I've been playing because there's a trophy for finishing so many of the same levels, and these levels, the high levels, they're about 30 minutes long, but there's one that's only about 15 to 20. So I've been playing that one over and over again. So I've played it about 25 times over about 6, 7 hours.
God,
and I've got to do it again, and it is a boring level. The only good side is you get to be the other Avengers and level them all up, but it's rough.
That sounds a lot like Resident Evil 6.
Yeah, I think it's not as bad yet.
Okay,
because,
yet.
Is the key word there. It's not as bad yet. Resident Evil, I don't feel as bad. I think because Resident Evil required a little bit more concentration. With this one, I can sort of just watch like something in the background or do something else and sort of just like half mind it. But it's
you're kind of grinding.
Yes, it's just that's all it is. The post game, the end game grinding is literally just do the same 6, 7 levels again.
Oh, that's so.
It's bad. It's such a bad. It's my opinion is soured on this massively. So I think I give it a 7 out of 10 if you're a Marvel fan. If you're not, a 6. I don't know what I'd even give it now. I think it's so repetitive. You get a good 10-hour story, and the rest there's some good elements and there's some terrible elements. But the fact that there's only like say 8 maps and 3 different levels for each map, it's like you can't be expected to play 100 hours on this. So on that, if you've platinum trophied this game already, props to you. You've obviously spent a lot of time on it, probably over 100 hours already, which is pretty impressive, sort of. But well done for getting the platinum trophy nonetheless, because I think it's not going to be a rare one, but it definitely is, to me, quite an impressive one, because you've got to put the time in. It's not a 50-hour platinum, it's easily 100, maybe 150, so...
Yeah. Congrats. Well done to you guys.
Yeah, well done. It's probably like one person who's watched this who's done it.
I know.
There, so.
I know. In your opinion, before we move on, would you say this is a game to wait until like a massive sale then?
Yes, without a doubt.
Really?
It's not worth 50. I bought it with the person I Xbox PlayStation share with. Do you know how you can share and get digitally?
Yeah.
So I only paid half price for it, really.
Okay.
But it's definitely not worth full price at all. I think as well because the game, it's like Destiny in the fact that Destiny came out pretty empty, and I think maybe in 6 months' time there's going to be 3 or 4 more playable characters, there's going to be a lot more levels, a lot more money spent on it, that I think then it would be worth playing.
Yeah. More
so anyway. So it's definitely worth probably picking up the January sale. I think it's not going to retain its value. Like a lot of these games as a service, is even though they plan on supporting them long term, they tend to crash in price. And I could see you picking this up for about maybe 20-30% off.
Yeah.
Around just after Christmas, maybe in the Christmas sales. So if you really want it, I'd say honestly, if you really want it and you haven't picked it up yet, I would just say wait. It's going to underwhelm you.
Yeah.
I've seen people like on Twitter saying it's the best game they played this year, and I just think you clearly haven't played another game this year if you think that's the best game. It sets a really worrying precedent though when people are saying it's the best game they've played. Like, I know everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but it's like saying, I don't know, some normal. It's hard to say, but it's like saying a cheap type of whiskey is the best whiskey you've ever had, and it's like, well, clearly you haven't tried real good whiskey if you think a supermarket branded whiskey is the best whiskey.
Yeah.
You clearly just are very uncultured, and your opinion is probably wrong. But anyway,
I get it. No, I get it. I understand. I mean, you have to kind of, for a start, you can't really call this the best game ever if there's glitches and bugs for a start, because that means the game is unfinished and it's full of problems.
Which it is.
Witcher did have some issues, fine, but you know, you can't really compare. Like, Avengers, as far as I can see, is like a looter
slasher
fighter.
Basically, yeah.
And The Witcher is huge open world, massive open world. It's bound to some things go wrong. I mean, look at how much you're rendering, look at how even like the movement of the trees in the wind, for example. It's something that you kind of like when you're playing, you kind of forget about it. But then when you kind of look back and you think like all the things that it's processing, like clouds, the wind, it's got a day and night cycle, just everything. Like every NPC has a routine, every animal. It's a full, complete game. Yeah. You can't really compare that having bugs and glitches, which is expected to, a game that just has areas.
I agree.
And not an open world.
Yeah, completely. And as well, I think a lot of the glitches in those sort of games, they're like the superficial glitches. So like you'll have like, a tree disappear, or the wind stop, or maybe Geralt not be carrying, I don't know, his sword or something. But when you're getting like the enemies disappearing or getting stuck in walls, so you can't progress in the levels, they're game breaking glitches, and that's pretty much what Avengers is. And as well, I've had like 3 or 4 hard crashes, so you're getting cut out, and as well, there's no autosave in the levels because they're like online missions. So like when you get kicked out, you start again. So it's like if you're 30 minutes into an hour level, you get kicked out, you have to start the whole thing again. No fault of your own. Oh. Yeah, it's very just savage. It is savage.
No, that's. I'll definitely wait.
Guys, if you haven't picked it up, you have to just wait. Honestly, that'd be my strongest opinion. I'm a massive Marvel fan, and I say that on my review. Just watch my review, to be fair, and watch my beta review, because I think my beta review I'm a little bit harsher, and I should have been. I think I didn't want to come across too harsh, and I feel like maybe I should have, but I don't want to be like that negative. But on that, let's move on to something more positive. So we're going to talk about the gaming news already this week, because we've got so much to talk through. Last week was the PlayStation. On Thursday was the PlayStation 5 latest event, and we got the biggest reveal. Firstly, which was the price, which is in the UK is $449, and in the US $499. EU's $499. Happy with that, Joel?
Yeah, I was expecting around that price. I always said Sony usually loses money when they release the consoles, and then they make their money back with the games, which is fair. I mean, you don't really want to release a console that's overpriced, because especially with it being Christmas, you want as many people as possible to get it, for their kids, as presents. I mean, even adults, for ourselves. But if you're going to make it too expensive, people probably won't buy it, or they'll just wait for a sale. So you want to kind of undercut yourself to then punish us with all the games that you're releasing.
Well, I think like we have a YouTube channel. We both have YouTube channels about gaming. We both are sitting right now talking on a podcast of gaming. We aren't casual gamers. No. It's not really our description, and we're pretty hardcore. And in the first week or second week of the podcast, we spoke about pricing, and I said that £600 was my limit. Like, I wasn't prepared to pay anything else more than that. And I feel like for the average casual gamer, there's nothing wrong with being a casual gamer at all. But I think the cut-off would have been maybe £500 for them, and I think Sony have to really think, we need to appeal to the masses. Everybody has to want to get this console, and we don't want to cut it off, especially with how cheap Microsoft have done theirs. Because the Xbox Series S at £280 is so cheap. I will be picking one up. Probably not immediately, but maybe in 2021, early 2022, I'll be picking one up for that price.
But the thing is, though, with that is they although they put the price down, which looks good, they also put the specs down.
Yes, they did.
Which I don't understand. Like, it's not really a next-gen console. It's like a half-gen console.
It's sort of like between an Xbox X, Xbox One X, and an Xbox.
And that's It's just weird. Like how like I'm gonna guess the games that are gonna come out for the Xbox are gonna be compatible for both.
Yes, they are for a while.
So how? So you're just creating more problems for the console because it's gonna be having to downgrade these games that are made for the next gen.
I know that's very true, and as well that brings us on to our point generally before we get into each game. One of the points is that Miles Morales and is it? Oh, there's another game. Assassin's Creed Valhalla and there's another one I can't remember are coming out for the PlayStation 4.
Yes.
2 of the PlayStation 5 exclusives are going to be out for PlayStation 4 as well.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like when you make the games on this generation, it discourages people to want to upgrade. So they have to think about that. I understand there's 100 million PlayStation 4s sold, and they don't want to isolate that as part of the market. But at the same time, it's sort of like, well, you need to encourage people to buy your next gen console. And if you're making the games available on both, not everybody can afford it. Not everyone wants to jump on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of expect. They do it with every generation anyway. If you think about it, they did it with the PS3 when it went to the PS4. A lot of the games came out for the PS3 as well as the PS4, and I don't know. It feels like, for me personally, because I waited a year before I got the PS4, and it felt a bit like a rip-off when you got the PS3 games, because you'd see the games on PS4 and they were just amazing and they were just this new, fresh thing, and then you'd see it on the PS3 and it kind of... I'm thinking specifically about FIFA. When FIFA came out on the PS4, it was mind-blowing. Like the little features and the graphics and everything, and then when you bought the same game for the PS3, it just looked a bit like a reskin of the previous FIFA.
What was your first... You might not be able to recall this, but what was your first game for the PlayStation 4, or your first game of this current generation?
I think it was Infamous Second Son.
Okay, yeah, fair.
So I think I bought the PlayStation with the bundle of Infamous. And again, I played that game and it blew my mind. I think Infamous is an absolutely, even now, even after the years have gone by, it's still amazing.
It looks good and it's a great game. There's no debate there at all.
So I think I chose a pretty good game to start off the generation with anyway.
That was the first game I played on PlayStation 4, but I didn't get my PlayStation 4 until 2016. I was a bit late to the party. My first game was Shadow of Mordor, and I bought it in October. No, I bought it in Black Friday sale in November. I didn't have the next gen console until January. And I remember playing thinking, this game looks incredible.
Yeah.
Are we going to feel that way about this gen? I don't know, because I played The Last of Us Part 2 and that game is phenomenal. I don't even think Valhalla will look as good as The Last of Us Part 2 did on this gen.
It's Ubisoft, though.
Yeah, that's a very valid point. That's true. We don't like...
Is it?
That's a very valid point. That just makes the whole argument redundant.
I think... No, but I know what you mean. I was only I think it was yesterday or the day before, I was speaking to one of my work colleagues, and I was saying, like, you look at the gameplay from Miles Morales and it doesn't look that different from Spider-Man PS4. I mean, yeah, you got extra features and maybe a little bit you can kind of tell the graphics are a bit more fine-tuned, but it's nothing major. It's nothing like huge. It's not a huge leap, I don't think.
Well, we might as well start talking about Spider-Man first. Now you brought it up. I partially agree. I think the demo we saw, you're right, I think it looks crisper, a little bit higher grade, but that's really it. I think what we're going to see is, I think it's going to be things like more enemies on the screen and potentially more detail on the in the combat and everything moving more fluidly. And I think that's where the power of the new consoles will really show, the ability to process higher units on screen, more things going on, because Spider-Man at times can move quite slow, not in terms of frame rate but in terms of when he dodges and stuff, whereas that's going to be so much faster now, because it probably was slightly limited by its capacity on this generation of consoles. So on next gen, which is why really, if you buy this on PlayStation 4, you probably will be doing yourself a disservice, because it's built for the PlayStation 5. Yes, it's an initial first console game, so it's not going to be like what we're going to see in 2024, but it's going to be optimised for the PlayStation 5, so bear that in mind if you're deciding on which one you're going to buy. And we're going to talk about if we're going to buy the console at launch later on, and we'll talk about that later on, but if I don't get one at launch, I'll be waiting to play this game on the next gen rather than picking it up now.
Same.
But yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there with Spider-Man. I'm pretty excited for Spider-Man. There's no debate there.
Oh, for sure.
And we saw it looks pretty awesome. I think it's going to be a great story. My only concern, it's not a concern, it's just how long is it going to be? Is it going to be a full game? Or is it not? Is it going to be 15 hours or is it going to be 30? 30 would be amazing, but we just don't know.
Yeah, it gets that it starts getting to the thing with. Yes, I'd want a full Miles Morales game, but then if they do that, will that overshadow Peter Parker's story? Is he going to be in it? I mean, we've already seen Mary Jane's going to be in it. I think I saw her in one of the sequences.
Well, I think he voices over in the first trailer. I think he will be in it. I would love him to be playable. I would love him to be in like one level, like maybe Miles gets captured or something and he has to go help him out because he's a kid. He's going to be making mistakes. You know, Peter Parker's like 24 in this, so it's like, well, yeah, he needs to like help Miles. I would like to see that, but if I don't see it, it's not the end of the world. He should be in it though because he's Spider-Man. But we'll just see. I don't think it will overshadow. It depends. In a way, them doing this probably has set off a different Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
They probably. And I think maybe initially it would have just been Peter focused, but the next one's going to be both of them focused. But that won't necessarily be a bad thing.
Do you know what I'm scared of? I'm scared that they're slowly they're preparing you to transition. That Peter Parker is most probably going to die in one of the games. I'm very, very worried.
I would not be on board with that.
But if they're following the comics, well, the comics have like multiple universes or multiple like timelines. Yeah. But if they're going to follow like a specific timeline, the one that Miles Morales is in, Peter Parker dies.
Yeah. However, on the same spin of that, Miles Morales never meets Peter Parker because Spider-Man dies first. In that storyline, Spider-Man dies and then Miles comes about afterwards.
Yeah.
But they're taking bits and pieces, so who knows?
Yeah.
It would be a shame, especially if he dies like at the end of this one or like early. I could maybe get on board with him dying at the end of Spider-Man 2 if I really had to. I don't really want to say that, so. But
let's not talk about it. We're maybe
you're bumming us out, man.
People ideas or something like. Shh. Yeah.
Don't listen. It's okay. It's okay.
Protect his innocent ears.
You've upset him. He's upset now. Just cool this down. There we go. Can't hear now. It's fine. Okay, so Joel, I imagine this is going to be the game you're most excited about, which is Demon Souls.
Oh yes. I don't know why I'm so hyped about this game because I never played Demon Souls on PS3. I think I'm most hyped about it is because it's the last one that's missing for that From Software collection. But also, after seeing the gameplay, oh my god. Like seriously. Oh my god.
I've seen some of the comparisons, and that was when I was the most impressed. Because I'm not like a massive diehard. Well, I'm not a fan of Soulsborne. But when I saw the comparisons, I was like, "Wow, this game is." There's no debate. This game is a complete rebuild. It's not a cheap, terrible remaster. It's not even like a flashy remaster. It is a rebuild game. So it's gonna be pretty awesome for those who want to play it.
I also think it'll be harder.
You think? Well, I heard Demon Souls was the hardest.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, but a lot of people say it was the hardest because it was so clunky. And if you play Dark Souls Remastered and compare it to like Dark Souls 3, then you kind of see the leap that Dark Souls 3 made. Like the enemies in Dark Souls 3, they have not a lot of like when you hit them, they kind of stagger. Most enemies. Whilst in Dark Souls 1, not so much. You kind of hit them and they don't stagger. So if you're hitting an enemy and they're halfway through hitting you, you're still going to get hit if you hit them. Yeah. Most of the time.
I think it's going to be really good for the actual franchise because it's coming out as a console launch title.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be more people playing it than probably would have played it if it came out, say, next year. Probably something like... You probably get millions of people playing it now. And the Dark Souls series, I know they're quite famous and popular amongst niche, but I think that's what they are, to popular amongst a niche.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to really give it a chance, an opportunity to go into the mainstream. Whether or not it'll hit loads of traction with normal people remains to be seen, but I think it's definitely going to be a positive for the franchise to get out there. And I think I have heard rumours of Bloodborne getting remastered for next gen as well, which I think will be perfectly timed if it comes out, say, next year. People are just finishing up Demon Souls and then Bloodborne comes out, and then just continue playing these type of games.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. I prefer them do a Bloodborne 2 rather than remaster this one. Also, speaking of Bloodborne, let me just say, hats off to Sony. Have you seen the games that they're giving people for the PS Plus in November?
No.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. They're giving 18 free games.
What?
18 free games. They're giving... These are the ones that I can remember. They're giving God of War. This is all for free, by the way, for PS Plus members.
Is this a PlayStation Plus collection thing?
Yeah. So they're giving God of War. They're giving Persona 5. They're giving Mortal Kombat X. Days Gone. Monster Hunter World. Bloodborne. Until Dawn. Oh my god, I'm gonna get it up. It's insane. It's like when I saw this, I was like, no way. There is no way that this is real. And then it's like it's basically for people who haven't bought the PlayStation 4 and are gonna buy the PlayStation 5. They're basically giving you these like what do they call it? Generation defining games so you can enjoy them. Because the games are gonna be more expensive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
See, I wasn't sure when that was coming out. I wasn't overly hyped because I thought, well, I played all of those games. However, I didn't see Persona 5 and I did not see Bloodborne.
Yeah. Oh, okay. There we go. So we got. All right. So they're giving away Batman: Arkham Knight, Battlefield 1, Bloodborne, Days Gone, Detroit Become Human, Fallout 4, Final Fantasy 15, God of War, Infamous Second Son, The Last Guardian, The Last of Us Remastered, Monster Hunter World, Mortal Kombat 10, Persona 5, Ratchet & Clank, Resident Evil 7, Uncharted 4, and Until Dawn. Wow. They're literally giving people these games for free in November.
So if you're a PlayStation Plus member, you're going to get all those games that month, or as long as you're a member.
Now, don't quote me, but I think yes, but I'm not sure if it's just for the PlayStation 5 PS Plus members.
That might make sense.
But I think... I'm not entirely sure, because obviously with PlayStation Plus, I'm guessing the price is going to go up, because now we pay like £40 a month. I think it may go up to like 50. Or now we pay £50 a month.
£50 per year at the moment, yeah.
So it may go up to like 60. I mean, it did with the PS3. Oh, actually, the PS3 was free. That's when it started off.
But the thing is, though, like it's hard. It's not ideal to do that because Xbox are becoming so consumer friendly and consumer focused that it seems like a non-intuitive direction that Sony are going in. It feels like they're going more anti-consumer by putting prices up, when Xbox are giving, like, you can get an Xbox Series X, Game Pass and online for £25 a month for 2 years, and that's including the £500 console. For Sony then to say, well, we're putting ours up to say $7.99, and all you're going to get is one free game that you don't really care about. 2 free games that have been out for 5 years. It seems a bit like, well, is that fair?
But then the thing with Xbox is there's nothing to play.
That is true.
Do you know what I mean? I think
the Game Pass is good.
I am being a bit biased because I am a PlayStation fanboy. I am going to say it, but look at the facts. Like, compare the games that are exclusive to Xbox compared to the games that are exclusive to PlayStation. And not just that, people who have an Xbox and a PC, or people who have a PC that can run games, it's pointless getting an Xbox.
That is true.
Because every game that is on Xbox, you can get on PC.
I'm sure trying to shed some light on because it's a bit dark in here.
So I think there's that. But yeah, I mean, I hope they don't put PS Plus up, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did.
I'm not going to be overly bothered if they did. I just think it just seems a bit. I'm not a fanboy of either, I have to say. I think I just like I just like video games, and I talk about video games. I think the Game Pass is pretty good because you're getting a lot of AAA games that are cross console, such as I don't know, Call of Duty. I don't think that's even on there actually. That's a bad example. But there's a lot of games that are coming out. For example, Gears of War 4 and 5 were both free on Game Pass at launch. That's like getting The Last of Us Part 2. It's free on if you have PlayStation Now. That is insane. So I think, so when Gears of War 5 came out, it was free if you have Game Pass. So you have access to that game if you're paying the £6 whatever it is a month for Game Pass. Yeah. And that is, it's sort of like, it's just generally like Netflix. So Netflix have, like, you know, they spend their own money on building up their making films and TV shows. It's kind of like that. Well, no, it is that. So with Xbox exclusives, if you have Game Pass, you get these games for free.
Right.
So that is a big pro that they have over PlayStation now. But we're going off on a massive tangent here, Joel. Let's move on.
Yes.
So the next one I saw, well, the first one I saw, which the first one on the list on the trailer was Final Fantasy 16.
Yes.
Now I saw this. I'm going to tell you through my experience of this because I love Final Fantasy 15. I haven't played any other Final Fantasy games. I was very late to the game series. I think it's amazing and I love it a bits now. And I'm yet to play Final Fantasy 7. It's on my list. I thought it was Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. And I was like, is this Final Fantasy? And then I saw the hair and I was like, oh, it is. It's anime hair. And then it's on top of the crystals. I was like, oh, it is definitely Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
However, it was done on a PC, which I found a bit odd, but that makes me think that it's not nowhere near release ready yet. It's probably not even got any PlayStation 5 footage yet. Or there is some, but...
Yeah, probably not. It was just kind of like because a lot of people have been asking when's the next Final Fantasy going to come out, and I think they're just saying there is one in the works, so relax. Let's just do our thing, just chill.
Take it easy.
Yeah.
So were you excited about that one, Joel?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you, you just said Final Fantasy 15 is like your favourite. It's probably the worst one.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. I know.
Oh well, maybe not the worst one. I think maybe 13, maybe the worst one.
I have read that. I have read people.
Yeah, maybe
people
13. It was okay, but it was a bit too linear. 13. I think that's what ruined that game.
Yeah.
But 15 isn't the best of Final Fantasies.
Well, apparently as well, the Royal Edition is... I haven't played the Royal Edition. I've just played the base game when it came out. Apparently the Royal Edition is so much more complete. Because you are left asking a lot of questions as to what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Whereas apparently the Royal Edition solves a lot of it.
Yeah, there's that time skip as well. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's like,
in the game.
It's like 9 years or something.
Yeah, that was... They didn't really think the whole game through, I don't think. I think they tried aiming to like a bigger audience and it kind of messed up. A bit like Resident Evil 6. They tried to please everybody and they kind of ended up pleasing no one.
However, on that, I wouldn't have played Final Fantasy if I didn't see the reviews of new entries, and I've been brought into the series and really, really enjoyed it, and now I'm going to be Final Fantasy fan forever. So I feel like on the same spin, maybe for the hardcore fans who didn't enjoy it as much, but as a newcomer, I thought it was amazing. So it's won me over, so it did have a purpose.
Are you thinking of playing the older ones?
It's just time, isn't it? They're big games, they're big commitments. I don't know.
If you do, I'd recommend you play 10. 10 is my favourite, personally.
I'm probably going to play Final Fantasy 7 this year.
7 for sure, yeah, as well.
So I think that'll probably be my next introduction. Well, not just to continue the series on. Let's move on to another game. I've tried to move my light because I'm using my phone light. I'm very professional. If you didn't already know that, this shows nothing but professionalism.
Exactly.
Deathloop. Let's talk about this game.
I'll let you talk about that one.
It's
not really my thing.
I saw it and I was just like, this game is not exciting me at all. Like, why are these roguelike games coming out where you play like a slightly different version of the same level game over and over again, and that it feels like the games are built around, at the core, monetization to make you play the same 10-hour game over and over again. And I'm just like, who is this appealing to? The only person this is who's appealing to. People who like first-person shooters and want to try something slightly different from Call of Duty. Yeah,
I don't know. It just doesn't appeal to me whatsoever. I'm not a big fan of first-person shooters anyway.
Same.
But I can consider some games. Like I've got a couple of first-person shooters in my list. Like one of the Far Cry's is on there because I think it's hilarious. But it just I don't know. It's Bethesda, isn't it?
Yes, that was the final thing. I feel like they put at the end the developers on purpose because you put Bethesda. If I put Bethesda on straight away, I would just went.
Yeah,
I can't find any props.
No.
I just went.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's
yeah. It didn't excite me at all. It looked garbage. It didn't look garbage. It'll be a fairly refined game. Apparently it's from the same developers or the same similar part of Bethesda that made Dishonored, so it'll be like a fairly polished game, but it's just, for me, it's a game that nobody wants. And people say, right, okay, this is my issue with like the current climate of everything. So I think video games a lot of the time reflect our society. So it's not like the problems in our society, and the problems at the minute is game developers are too afraid to make new IPs because they're too afraid that they're going to fail. So if you look at films, TV series, and video games being the biggest media, they rehash a lot of stuff. They're making new Jurassic Park films. They're making remakes of Mulan. They're making either rebranding of originally told stories, or they're making more sequels.
Yeah.
And that's basically exactly what the game industry are doing because, for example, Assassin's Creed is the biggest example. It's not even the same game anymore, they're just using the same brand because they're too afraid to step away from it because it's going to affect their money. But then you get these odd developers who try something new, they make a new IP and it fails, and this reinforces the fact that people are afraid to make new IPs. But when you make terrible IPs that nobody wants to play, yes, no one's going to play them. And Deathloop's an example of that. It's a game made by Bethesda, which is more than likely going to be heavily monetized, and nobody's going to like it. Then people are going to say, oh, well, we can't make new IPs in this current climate because no one wants to play them. And it's like, no, you can't make heavily monetized, extreme consumer, anti-consumer games because no one's going to buy them.
Yeah, let's think of new IPs that actually have come out. And I'm really thinking hard.
Ghost of Tsushima, Horizon Zero Dawn. They're two IPs that were received very well. They didn't stray too far away from any. They were quite generic formulas, but they took enough of a spin to make it on their own. And let's just clarify: Ghost of Tsushima is probably going to be Game of the Year, and Horizon Zero Dawn was a contender.
Horizon
it wasn't
Zero
amazing,
is very,
but
very
it was.
good.
And Days Gone as well. Days Gone wasn't amazing, but it was good enough. And it's like, but it's just the other sides of the genres where people are too afraid to jump out and then they make poor games and then they use that as an excuse not to make more. And it's just like shouldn't be the case, especially with the big companies like Square Enix and Bethesda who can afford to make a loss. And realistically, I can't imagine Deathloop doing well. No. So it's like, why don't you just take a risk on something that people actually want to play?
Yeah, I mean, look at what EA did. I know EA is still the bad guys, but still, look at Jedi Fallen Order. I'm only saying that because I've been playing it. Look how much of a good job they did with Fallen Order. You know, they didn't. Yes, there's a few bugs and glitches, fine, whatever. But as a whole, the game is fun. The game can be challenging, and also it will appeal to a lot of Star Wars fans. Personally, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I've not watched the films or anything, but I really enjoy the games. I don't.
No, I agree. Fallen Order is top quality. I was speaking to someone recently and they said it was just like okay, and I was like, nah, this is the best Star Wars game I've ever played.
I think this is the best Star Wars game I've played since The Force Unleashed. The first one.
Force Unleashed was good.
The second one was awful, but the first one was amazing.
I did like Force Unleashed a lot as well. I don't want to say Fallen Order was the best, but it was. Those two games really good. I didn't play Knights of the Old Republic. I didn't play that. I was too young.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I think it's it was. We're in our mid-20s, and I feel like that if you're like maybe if we were in our early 30s, mid to mid-30s, we'd probably have played it and loved it. It probably would have been like The Witcher for us. I totally get that, but we haven't played it, so we can't really comment. If you have played that game, let us know. There'll be a few people. My demographics, Joe, you won't know this, are people between the age of 25 and 34. So there'll be some people who have played Knights of the Old Republic and love it, and I'd like to know about it. So let me know down below. Let's move on from this anyway, because these always take. I just use you, Joel, as a vessel to just rant.
I love ranting.
So that was just me ranting about IPs. It's because I've been listening to a lot to David Mitchell, who is part of the comedy duo who does Peep Show, and he does a few books, and all he does is in his books is just rant about life, and they're very funny.
I think rants are needed. Rants are needed.
Okay, there's one more game I want to talk about. Hazard a guess.
There's a few good ones that I'm thinking. I'm looking forward to Horizon Zero Dawn 2 because I really enjoyed the first one.
Yeah.
But Ratchet and Clank.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Looks divine. Did you play the first one?
Oh, yeah. Great game.
And wow.
I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
However.
Okay.
Is it a console seller? I don't think so. I don't think it's a strong enough game for newcomers to want to buy it, to make the decision. I think coupled with the other games they've got, there's loads of games now. Yes, it's a really strong contender, but I think if it was just by itself, I don't think it's a console seller. But that's just me.
Let's get to the beef. The beef was obviously the closing.
Yes, that's what I was trying to talk about.
Yeah, the closing of the event was just, it made me squeal like a little girl. At first, when I saw like the drawing of the logo, I thought, surely not. Surely they're going to tease us with something that looks like it, but it's not going to be it. And then the music kicks in, and you just know. It gave me chills. It's giving me goosebumps now.
Yeah, I was just...
Oh, God.
I was thinking, like, I was watching a few live streams, and I was thinking people saying, oh, it might come up, might not, and I was like, yeah, it's not, it's done. And then I saw it, I was like...
It's the music. That soundtrack is just...
amazing.
Oh, my God. And but I'm also sad. I'm also a bit sad.
Why?
Because... I don't want to spoil anything, but obviously, if you finished God of War, then the ending kind of gave you what's going to happen in the next couple of games. I think it's a trilogy they're going to try and do. And
yeah, but then also potentially it's just a tease. Is that too bright? Yes. Sorry, guys, I'm just being very professional. I think that's a bit of a tease, though. So maybe not.
Maybe you think maybe they'll do like a, I don't know, like a. You make your own fate kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. Because Kratos is all about now. At the end of, if you play Kratos, you know there's a lot of death to family members, and during the God of War, he sort of says that he wants to break the cycle, doesn't he? So, and what happens in that sort of is continuing the cycle. So maybe he does somehow manage to break it.
But then you've also got what Atreus says to him. The big question he asks him. After the ending events, he asks him, if I wanted to kill you, would you let me? Or if I was about to kill you, would you stop me? And Kratos said no.
That's true.
Because they're on about like family members killing family members. And Kratos says, I don't think it's specifically those words, but it's basically saying, if it gets to the point where Atreus has to kill Kratos will let him. He won't even fight him.
Well, who knows?
So,
this is just ultimately really, really good storytelling.
Oh my God, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is like, we'll talk about, I'll be a bit ranty, be a bit pessimistic, but there's games that come out that are sensational, and God of War was one of those games. It was probably top 2 games of the generation, I probably would have said. If not the best game on the generation, it was just something else.
I think maybe the best.
Yeah, I'm just biased because
if we're going to be real. If we're going to be real with like exclusive to PlayStation, I think God of War was the best, because God of War did something. They kind of joined The Last of Us with God of War.
Yeah, they did. That's a very valid point.
Whilst with Spider-Man, it's kind of Spider-Man is absolutely amazing. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about Spider-Man whatsoever, because I love that game, but it's the other Spider-Man games done better.
Yeah, no.
whilst with God of War, it was kind of like a fresh new leaf. Like I'd never expect to play God of War the way I played God of War, because you're so used to the hack and slash thing with the faraway camera and angry Kratos, and it was just up close and personal, and it was you kind of feel the characters more, I think.
I agree. Being as unobjective as possible. No, as objective as possible, even. I think God of War is the best game on PlayStation 4 of the generation. And I didn't play any of the God of Wars. I think I played one of them on the PSP, and I think that was it. And the PS2. No, I played one on the PS2, and I think it was completely different. However, that being said, if you love God of War, they're all on PS Now. So if you actually, I want to kind of go back and replay them.
You should.
So I think it's because I was looking through, I was doing some lists, some video ideas, and I was looking through them all, and they're all pretty short games as well. That's 15, 20 hours, so you could sort of bash through one and a half a month. So it could be done. Right, let's move on. We've talked about the event. We're pretty happy. So the final topic of the we are on a long time already. We'll be on about 45 minutes. The final question of the podcast is: are you going to buy a PS5 at launch?
Probably not.
Why not?
I'm going to probably wait until there's a special edition one. Either a Spider-Man special edition one or like a Demon Soul special edition one. Just like a special edition one. I got the standard PlayStation 4, and I kind of regret not having the money at the time to buy a special edition one. What if
they release a Spider... Because apparently Spider-Man is now coming as a launch title. So what if they do a Spider-Man or Demon Souls launch console?
Then yes.
Interesting.
For sure. 100%. 100%.
Fair enough.
I may still get it on launch. I'm the same. I don't know. I'm so indecisive. So indecisive. But if there's a like a date or like a confirmed special edition that's going to be released, I don't know, like a month after the launch, then I'll probably wait that month. But maybe if there's nothing announced in the next sort of month or so, I may just bite the bullet and get it.
Yeah. I am thinking at the moment I'm not buying it at launch.
Okay.
And firstly, I want the Spider-Man console edition, so if that comes out again, it sort of changes this again. But I just think I've got so much stuff going on, and I think I just don't know if there's enough to really compel me to buy it yet. And I feel like the major thing that make me want to buy it is FOMO. FOMO, guys, is an abbreviation for fear of missing out, and I feel like that is the biggest determining factor driving me to pick up the console, because I think I'm going to miss out on these new games. But the reality is that's not the case, and I think there's only going to be 4 or 5 games out, and I don't know if it's gripping me or not. So no, it is gripping me. I'm not going to say that. I'm very excited for it, but it's just whether or not I can wait until, say, December. I feel like I can't wait until, say, December, January, because I've got so many games. And, we both work full time. We have, busy schedules, and I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet. And I was going to buy that. I was going to buy that next week. So I'm thinking, well, and I haven't even finished Last of Us Part 2. So I'm thinking if I finish Last of Us Part 2 is going to take me probably a month, and then Ghost is going to take me a month. That's like basically the end of November anyway.
Yeah.
So it might be perfect timing, or it might be actually I need to play Avengers as well, and I might be like, oh. Yeah. So I just think it's because it's going to be so expensive. Like life lessons, kids always save money. So I've been saving for just exclusively for this. I save for other things, obviously, because I'm grown up, but I've been saving like £40 a month since January of last year, just for PlayStation. So I've got I don't know, let's say it's like £900 or something for that. And I was thinking I could buy it on a whim straight away. The money's there, but just whether or not I need to buy it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking do I need to buy it, or can I just wait?
There's one thing I don't like about the PlayStation 5 is you have to get this weird adapter for it to be horizontal. Like the way my desk is, it has to be horizontal, and it kind of looks a bit ugly. On the bottom, yeah, it's kind of weird. That's the only thing. But still, it's not it's not going to stop me from buying it just because of that.
No. Well, I stand mine up vertically just because, although some of the fans are blocked at the bottom, I find that it does cool down quicker.
You think?
Because probably for me personally, when I lie horizontally, I have to put it on a shelf. So there's there's a heated back and heated sides, whereas I stand it up behind my television and it's got more. There's more space, so it cools down quicker.
That's fair.
Do you know that on that, I'm really, really hoping and looking forward to a quiet PlayStation 5. My PlayStation 4 Pro, when I run not only Last of Us now, Red Dead 2, Avengers, it sounds like it's going to explode, and it's not. Yeah. It might be my design. So apparently, when you order them when you get them, because they're made in such high quantities, the thermal paste can be poorly laid. So thermal paste is something that absorbs heat, and that's what makes them so loud. But on a whole, I've heard a lot of complaints about this, and you pretty much can't fix it without opening up your console. So, because I've opened up and cleaned the air filters and stuff 3 or 4 times, it just doesn't help. So I'm really hoping the PS5 is quieter. I'm not expecting silence, but an iPhone is an incredibly powerful piece of equipment, and it is silent. So,
true. I'm
not saying it's as powerful, but I'm just saying, but what we couldn't comprehend 10 years ago, we now get all the time. So potentially in the future, it will be a quiet console.
But then you have to think of. I'm glad you said an iPhone, because you have to think of compare the prices of a phone compared to the price of a console.
Yeah.
I mean, phones nowadays are £1,200, £1,300, £1,400 easy.
Yeah. This bad boy was I think I paid £1,000 for it 3 years ago. So, but they're not worth it. Don't ever buy a new iPhone. I feel personally.
I've been saying that for years.
I mean, it's not just new iPhones. I just think it's new phones in general. I was when you're younger, you're always obsessed about phones. I wasn't until I was 21 or something. And then I realise now that when I'm paying for it myself, that it's just not worth it.
No, it's not. No, buy a console instead.
Yeah, exactly. It's also a thing of people buy phones and like get cars on finance that they never pay off and stuff, but then they are afraid to buy a £500 console. And it's like, well,
I know.
pros and cons. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
This is a game. If you're watching this, most people that I've spoke to are pre-ordering. There's been a lot of issues on that final topic.
Yes.
Final topic. There's been a lot of people who have not been able to pre-order the consoles. So apparently, within 2 minutes, the consoles were sold out in the UK. 2 minutes. And
that's also a big factor of that is people who order more than one.
Yes.
And I think they tried to limit that as well, one per household, and it still kind of didn't work. I know personally, I'm not going to say names, but I know of a YouTuber that I'm subscribed to, and he bought 25, and he's left with 8 now. They cancelled the rest, but he still managed to pre-order 8.
Why did you buy 25?
He may be doing like some sort of giveaway or something like that to his subscribers. That's the only thing I can think of. Or, gifts, maybe.
Wow.
But yeah, he had a load cancelled because of how much demand there is.
Do you think there's going to be a shortage in the UK? So for everyone else who's outside the UK, this is probably relevant. This is irrelevant to you, but do you think there's going to be a shortage in the UK or not? Because for some reason we are getting it 1 week later than South Korea, the US, Japan.
Yeah.
And
well,
China?
in your Discord, was it Shadow? He said that, or somebody posted that they're going to make more to keep up with the demand, so there shouldn't be. But I mean, you never know. If there's going to be a lot of people who are going to buy more than one, then it's likely. For me personally, it's not a big issue because whether I get it on launch or not, it's not a huge thing for me. But I can understand for people who have been, obsessed in getting this console on launch day and they can't. I can understand how frustrating it is to see like other people buying more than one or buying more than what they really need to.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm the same. If I get it, I've already explained that I'm probably going to wait around about a month to get one anyway. Yeah. At least. But I could, I'm not overly bothered. I can understand why you'd be upset, but then at the same time, it's hard because it's, this day comes around one in every 7 to 8 years.
Yeah.
So for some people, it's really, really special. And it's a shame if you miss out on that.
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's no biggie, really.
But it's not like you're not going to get it. Even if you don't get it on the 19th, you might get it on the 21st or 22nd, 23rd, or, a couple of weeks later. It's not... I don't think personally it's the end of the world. But.
No. I think probably as well, because we are getting it 1 week later, that is one whole week to make consoles, and, they're probably making something like 10,000, 50,000 a day at the minute. So another week could be another 500,000, 250,000 units in the UK. So I can't see it selling more than 5 million in this first week in the UK. Not in the worldwide. Worldwide, it's probably going to be like 25. Well, it was.
I don't know about that. It was massive. Like it was huge. Like even.
I'm going to tell you how many.
Go on.
No. I was going to say I'm going to tell you how many PS4 sales for the UK are now, because I don't think they're as high as you think they are. But you say what you're going to say.
I just don't remember the PS4 having this much hype as the PS5 did.
Interesting.
I don't remember it being. Even me, like even myself, I'm so much more hyped for the PS5 than I was for the PS4.
Maybe that's true because according to this, this can't be right. I don't trust this website. It's saying only 1.2 million units of PlayStation 4 have been sold in the UK. That's not true.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. Like since its launch.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely not. Not a chance. Unless it's talking about just the base PlayStation 4, the first one.
30 million.
30
1
million.
in 10. Wow. That, just guys, to put that into perspective, 110 million PlayStation 4s were sold worldwide. So basically the UK is almost a third of that.
Yeah.
Wow. I take that back. That was just me chatting absolute rubbish.
It's what I mean. Like, do you remember it being that hype for the PS4? Like, were you that hype for the PS4?
I was.
You were?
I was, yeah.
I don't think I was. I don't know why. I think... I mean, I was hyped for it, like, next gen and all that, but I don't think I was...
But see, I think last gen, the jump from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 was bigger. There's a bigger jump, whereas the jump now, in terms of everything we're seeing, I don't think it's going to be as significant. It's still going to be impressive, but it's not as... It's like, I feel like PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 5 was this massive leap, whereas PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5 is like a couple hops. Still in the right direction, but not as big. So I think
it may be the games, you know.
Yeah, there wasn't that many.
I think
good
it may
games.
be the games.
So
because you're carrying on. Like a lot of people love God of War, which we spoke about. A lot of people loved Spider-Man. A lot of people loved Horizon Zero Dawn, and a lot of people love Ratchet and Clank. And all these sequels now are coming, and even Demon Souls. It's not a sequel, but it's a remaster of a huge.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't a huge game back then, but it pretty much defined the genre. It pretty much created the Souls genre. And I think maybe the games is what's pushing the PS5 to be such a huge hype.
Yeah, I think as well, just because how much social media and the internet has advanced as well. In 2013, it was pretty hardcore, but I think now it's just next level.
Yeah,
everyone's just on Twitter, Instagram. Everything is like Instagram wasn't that big of a deal in 2013.
No, it wasn't.
Now it's like everyone has a platform to say what they want. And I think the hype is next level for things now.
The hype train.
I think I take it back. I think it might sell maybe like say, well, if it sold 30 million worldwide in the UK over the whole 6-7 years, I think it might sell maybe 6 to 8 million in its first month. That's what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I think so. So I think maybe there will be a shortage.
Yeah,
maybe
it's a lot.
Maybe,
but you think about it. The US must only be about 50-60 million because there's a lot of people play it in Japan and a lot of people play it in like Asia, like China and stuff. So it's like, well, the US must have only contributed to say 30-40 million.
The US is more Xbox though, I think, because Xbox comes from the US, Microsoft.
Yeah,
and whilst the Asians, it's more Japan because
that's true.
Japanese created the PlayStation. I think with UK it's probably mixed. Like you have your people who prefer the Xbox, then you have your people who prefer your PlayStation.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of there's a bit of a. I think it's well divided. I think
us Brits are very multi-console lingual.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people I know who have both, and like I keep asking my mates, so what are you going to do? You're going to get the Xbox? You're going to PlayStation? Well, just get both.
Yeah,
like,
I know people who said that.
Right,
well, I do think I'm going to get both this year. Not this year. Maybe. I'm going to buy it in the next year, so I think I will pick up the Xbox Series S, the cheaper one, in next year at some point, because my brother has Game Pass, so I won't have to play a game. I pay for a single game, and I'll have thousands of games to play.
Yeah.
And I'm a Gears of War fan.
Do you think that's going to impact your trophy hunting?
Nah. I'll just play the games that I really want to play that I'm too afraid to work hard on the Xbox.
You're not really bothered about the gamer score, are you?
No.
It's not the same, is it?
No. But like say for example Devil May Cry 5, I still haven't played it yet. I really want to play it. I'll probably just play it on Xbox now because I don't have to worry about platinum trophies or anything. Just worry about just enjoy the game. Take it for what it is.
I'd probably wait until the special edition comes out for that.
But it'll probably be free on Game Pass. So
yeah.
So we'll see. Right, well, we've spoke for quite a long time, so I think we'll wrap it up. This is why there's no trophy topics, guys. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. We do appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
And we want to know what your thoughts are on everything we've said. We've thrown so much at you tonight. I hope it's been interesting. I hope it's been insightful. I've had a good time, Joel. I'm sure you have as well. Time. The hype is high for the PlayStation. God. The hype is high for Demon Souls, God of War 2, Final Fantasy, Spider-Man. We're pretty excited. And we want to know what you're excited about. So, what have you got any final statements to say, Joel?
I do. On the last podcast, go over there, and everybody needs to comment that PlatinumBro needs to get the platinum on Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm carrying it on.
Okay, that's fair. We'll carry it on. We'll carry it on. If you want me to platinum Red Dead 2, you've got to comment platinum Red Dead 2 down below.
Yes.
And we'll count them across all videos, and we'll see how many it gets, and then I may eventually try and platinum Red Dead 2. If this is your first podcast and if this is your first podcast of the series and you're at the end now, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And it's a long running joke, which if you watch other podcasts, you will see why, because we speak about Red Dead for about 5 minutes to 10 minutes every episode about how hard it is.
Yeah.
And I might do that at some point. Joel's done it. He really wants me to share his pain.
Yes.
I've heard of he's got PSD. It's PTSD from playing Red Dead 2 because of how stressful it is. So
it's terrible.
Maybe I will play it someday. But on that, guys, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out Joel's channel as well down below. There also is the link for the guide for Erica if you want to watch that.
Thank you.
And if you want to talk to either of us, you can check us out on Discord. We're on my Discord. We're always up for a chat. And that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Take it easy.
Bye-bye.